All right, there we go. All right, we're back to the disco. We are back to the disco on kind of our final side quest, or at least our final side quest before we redo the Ruby side quest or not the Ruby main quest that should advance the game's story. But we still need to wait, where is it? Find the murder web and take on responsibility off of figures. Make the thing hardcore. Look for Ruby on the coast. Find where the shot came from. Shouldn't we also have a side quest that says make the radio thing happen? Is that the make the jam harder core? No. Oh, it's here. Here it is. Right. It's part of taking responsibility. That's right. Because we have to contact the coalition. And for that, we need the working transceiver. Right. Alright, so we're gonna go back to Ruby's car, which had the big radio stuff.
By its owner, stuck in the interminable traffic jam. The smell of cigarettes and perfume welcomes you. The cabin inside is plastered with old movie posters. Actresses smile from the walls. There's a radio transmitter in the front and a toolbox tucked under the driver's seat. Some tools lie scattered near the pedals.
Lady, good to see you spinning out.
There's something odd about the passenger seat. The seating fabric has been pulled tight over the lower side of the seat where the toolbox should be.
And because we massively upped our perception score, we see something that we didn't see before. I wonder how many perception things we've missed in the game. Probably a lot. So there's remove radio transceiver. We can peel off the cover of the passenger seat.
Voila. A stack of neatly folded papers has been stashed behind the seating fabric. You see 3 maps depicting a large metropolitan area. It's Revachol. Some of its routes and highways have been outlined with a pen.
Bonne prise.
The attack commends you as you shift through the treasure, well worn and folded in neat squares. Fold open the topmost map.
This large map displays the elevated motorway called 881. The intake leading to Martinez is marked with a blue X.
I mean, this is the drug smuggling maps, right?
Called the Old South.
The Old South.
The intakes are marked with a circle. It looks like there are scant few ways of getting onto the elevated motorway that runs over Jamrock, and this person knows them all.
So they... Wait, so... There's scant few ways of getting onto the elevator that runs over Jamrock, right? Are they trying to avoid Jamrock, or is this just the best way in type thing? I guess we're gonna get some shivers, I think, because this is red. There's some shivers.
Hundreds of thousands of motor carriages roar on the 881. High above the mess of brown and red roofs, that is Jamrock. The commuters don't even look down. The world ceases to exist outside the windshield.
Sounds like avoidance. It does sound like avoidance. And yeah, so it's high above. Jamrock ceases to exist on the highway. So if without shivers, we just have fold up at the second map, and we can say, where does the road lead?
To Kuron.
To Kuron. Kuron sucks. Right, doesn't it? Not as much as Coal City.
Maris and La Delta for work, while the men and women of Jamrock scuttle.
Oh, no, Kuron's fine. Middle-income neighborhoods. Coal City sucks, though. Jamrock sucks. Coal City sucks more than Jamrock. Okay. Fold open the second map.
This municipal map from the 30s displays a complex system of storm sewers underneath a sub-district called the Pox. Old military hospital, right adjacent to the 41st precinct.
Right next to our precinct. Charisma to free up market. Yeah. I guess I got Kuron conflated with... There is another bad place. Coal City is like the absolute worst, but there is another place that's worse than Jamrock. But it's not Kuron, apparently.
No storm will ever drown Revachol. The great solution to the riddle of history.
Revachol is the solution to the riddle of history?
Wind rips through the empty hallways of the once great military hospital. Now just a ruin under an overgrown park. Beneath the hospital, great sewer tunnels hum and vibrate with life of their own.
What's that sound?
The rattle of motor carriages and lorries driving through long-forgotten tunnels. lit by gaslights.
All right. You go way above Jamrock, you go through these old sewer tunnels, and the final map.
The final map displays a
The final
labyrinth
map.
of service tunnels left over from the construction of Motorway 881. A few routes have been marked with a pen, where the tunnels and sewers surface near the eminent domain, and a traffic island in central Jamrock by the lake.
Aye.
These service tunnels were probably used during the construction of the foundation beneath the motorway.
Okay. This is one of the weakest checks ever, I would say. It says, hey, these are service tunnels left over from construction. These service tunnels were probably used in the construction. It does say the foundation beneath the motorway instead of just the motorway itself. But this is a pretty weak check. We pretty much already heard that.
Despite the cold, figures move about cloaked in shadow, their breath escaping in white clouds that fade into the darkness. Wherever you look, the night gives cover to her messengers.
Yes, I think you're right. It's not far from where we are in-game from memory. Not sure of the name, though. I actually think I can redo that conversation, because I think it triggers from... No, we can't redo it, because it triggered from looking at the glow-in-the-dark thing on our papers, our police papers, and there was the map of Revachol on that, and, we could say, like, where are we? And Kim would say, we're here. And we could say, like, this place sucks. And Kim's like, yeah, it sucks, but not as much as Coal City. And I think he says one or two other places. But I don't remember where they are. Okay, wherever you look, that gives cover to their messengers. Where are they going?
They travel from eminent domain to
Perdition.
And onto the main, over the River Esperance, on Route 881 to the Old South. The exit ramp is supposed to be shut down, but there's much activity. The road spreads like the tentacles of a great octopus. Looks like
Good
the
roads.
smugglers have infiltrated the road network belonging to East Motor Tract.
The smugglers have infiltrated the motor track, Kim.
So it would seem. The RCM patrols most of these auxiliary roads, though apparently not all of them.
Where's the contraband end up? Who do you think is behind this? Where's the contraband end up?
Hard to say. This distribution network looks certainly large, yet still vague enough. It doesn't reveal much about the Besmerti behind it.
Besmati? Sounds vaguely familiar.
The Besmerti is a Revacholian crime syndicate. They see themselves
Have we
as
heard
the
that?
inheritors of the 14 Revacholian Indo-tribes. But really, they're just violent gangs vying for control on the west side of Revachol. With cool names like La Puta Madre and Aura Masta. It's a dark parody.
Who do you think is behind this?
It's definitely not the Union. They just do some logistics. This operation has spread everywhere in Jamrock. If it's that widespread, then Madre remains the most likely suspect. Here's bad news. There have been attempts at a serious investigation before, but they haven't ended well for those involved.
We pretended to work for Madre when we were talking to the racist lorry guy, right?
Lieutenant Kitsuragi is a brave man for saying Madre's name without the winces and whispers that usually accompany it.
Alright, return the stack of
Best not
papers.
to disturb the scene. I'll have forensics go over the lorry and pick these up later.
Do we get 5 XP?
The stack of maps
No?
looks
Really?
just like before, barely noticeable.
All
The
right.
police stars look silently by, and the pull-out toolbox has a rubber handle.
Maybe
worn
this
for
will
years of
maybe
use.
this will still trigger something in the future, but I expected a little bit of XP. Alright, remove the radio transceiver.
It takes a few moments, but eventually the transceiver slides from its greased socket mount with an eminently satisfying ching.
Highly advanced transceiver.
Nearly the same sound produced by the action on a good breech loader. You can't fail to notice. As you take the transceiver in your hands, the lieutenant bites his lower lip, apparently deep in thought.
Funny, isn't it?
Sounds like an old breech loader. What do you mean? I only get jokes. Well, I'll say this line, but he might say, no, that's not what I meant.
Oh, I didn't mean that. It's just ironic that you are using the lady driver's radio to contact the very authorities you are so keen to evade.
Ah, okay, sure.
Where the transceiver used to be, there's just a rectangular shadow.
Box of the place you're thinking of, just the southwest Marnes. Oh, and that actually, I don't know if we can still see it on screen here. We can't, but it did mention the pox in those list of things. Examine the
It's
transceiver.
about the size of a small paving stone and nearly as heavy.
Very heavy
Now
radio.
that you're looking
Dense.
at it more closely, you realize the various dials and meters
Rogue, good to see you. Welcome
look
back.
like a face. A distinctive triangular logo forms the nose. That's the mark of Estaz Electronica, one of the major manufacturers of advanced radio equipment.
I see Glavia on the Discord with a joke, which is pretty good, and also saying, does Disney own Indiana Jones? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Okay, it's the mark of Electronica, major manufacturers of advanced radio equipment. You think we'll be able to reach the coalition with this?
You've surprised me more than once during the course of our investigation. But I have to say, it still seems like a remote scenario.
The movie
Transceiver
stars are
away.
Still
Close the door. Now, we got the transceiver, which we could sell. We could sell for $15 instead of using it. It says return to the church. It says return to the church, but I thought we were actually supposed to somehow turn the whole circuit here, the whole circle, into a transmitter. I thought that was the idea. Alright. Well, I don't think we have anything to say to Classe, do we? I don't think we've discovered anything new there. But yeah, if you can think of something we should do that we haven't done, I mean, say it now, because now's the chance, I guess. We could put a level into electrochemistry just to try to do the, talking to the pawn shop dealer about his drug use. But, there's not much else. Guess I need the Church River assistance. Yeah, if they have to come out and set up the transceiver in the circle, I hope it teleports us there, instead of making us run all the way out here and then run all the way back, which would be fine if the fast travel was working. But it's not. This is where the fast travel would work. Which transceiver did we get? Oh, is there more than one? We got the one from Ruby's Lorry. Alright. Well, it actually didn't take too long to get back to the church. There was no further things with the rich man inside the container. We did go back to him once, and we were able to talk to him about some things like the doomed commercial district. But, there wasn't any... It was just some flavor dialogue. There wasn't anything really more to it.
A better deal! Yeah!
Yeah, and look, we did somehow undo this.
It sucks up!
Inside your chest.
Ah!
What about the compressor? The one with the spiky...
Well, shoot. Right, we passed this check.
Yeah!
Bzz, 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 goes the trap. You scrape them. Isn't that what real artists do? Make it up as they go along.
The fluxifier? Where is that?
As you...
Copman!
Whatever it is you did, it seems to have helped slightly.
But yeah, we passed this interfacing check before, and apparently I didn't save it.
Here's an idea.
Which is a shame.
It's hard to say for sure, but the...
I don't... Well, I can put 1 point into interfacing, actually. But yeah, I really do want to pass this check.
Oscillator mage, top seek, you gotta bring... Don't listen to him.
Alright, I wanna re-roll this check. We passed it before, we got lucky, and apparently I didn't save it, which is annoying. I think the only way we have to up our interfacing score is our gloves, though. I don't think we have anything else that ups interfacing. Unfortunately.
A better deal! Yeah!
Here's an idea.
Yeah!
It's hard to say for sure.
better deal.
Alright, so this might take a
Side
second.
chain
Oh, there we go.
beats.
Side chain, right.
The compressor
Side chaining.
Then he puts on.
Hey, what did you do to Egghead, Cop Man? Did you break him?
Are you ready, pussy?
Noid, straight.
I was born ready, Egg.
Right, so we got the better beat before, and I forgot to save it, but here it is again. Making the jam more hardcore. Yeah, and somehow I never saved it that we passed that check. So we repassed it.
The audio assault is glorious. The speed freak dances on the stage, intensely waving his hand in the air.
This is beauty. This is life.
Everett's brother no leads there. We know he's involved in the drug stuff, but that's about it.
The way melody and bass flow together. It's unnatural.
Introducing the ultimate sound.
God damn it! This dance club idea might just work out.
DeLorean Church, the place to be. Pump it, pump it.
This is it. This is a new era. The fabric of the world has been
reality.
irrevocably altered. Who will be the innocence of hardcore melodic dance music?
Okay, so
Better deal.
let's make sure that these people don't have anything new before we talk to Suna.
Got a goodbye off.
Oh, we had a yellow, there we go. Could these wires also work as contact microphones? Contact mic.
Hard Cop.
Can't think of anything else. Yep, I think we're just gonna do this radio thing and then go talk to Ruby again. Oh, I found a radio transceiver. Right, it's not with Suna, it's with Noid. Then let's talk to Suna first, make sure there's nothing there.
Yes.
Didn't think there would be. Wanted to check. Anything with the glass window before we move along?
The mother of humanism stands above. Why? That does seem to be the mother of humanism.
Okay. I found a radio transceiver.
Cop ways came through again. Impressive. Let's see what you got.
Someone was using this to coordinate a drug smuggling operation. Use the highly advanced transceiver.
Thought I felt a special sign coming off this one. I'll just have egg pop in a frequency dial here.
We should save before this. We got several saves before this.
Rarely has there been a more apt pairing of man and transceiver. This is a portent of great success.
And a portent of 10 XP.
Right, Lawfarer, we're ready to do this. I have to warn you though, once we commit, there's no stopping until we've seen it.
Wants to make the gym more hardcore yet again.
No pauses, no second chances. This is our shot.
No second chances. That's why Rogue said save, to give us a second chance.
So any cop prep you gotta do, you do it now. We'll wait if we have to.
Do I need some kind of power supply? What kind of cop prep do I need to do?
Don't sweat that. Egg found something down near the waterlock. Some maniac abandoned a perfectly good power source.
The maniac is obviously you. The power source is the, engine of our car. I mean, the motor carriage that crashed in the bay?
That explains why it was covered in cop colours. Old thing's totaled. But lucky for us, the engine on the back...
I mean, the transceiver to push sound up from the void of the sea? No, actually, we're trying to contact the coalition. This is the moderate side quest. So we had to go and talk to the Sunday friend about the coalition, and then we had to find a way to contact. We're trying to contact the warship Archer, I think, and then so we need a good radio to try to call the warship to talk about responsibility of moderation in politics.
All I have to do is run a cable from the engine up the Centaur Man's Memorial. It won't last forever, but it should buy us enough time to get you synced up with a big bad.
What kind of cop prep do I need to do?
How should I know? It's up to everyone to know their own needs. whatever keeps your body and soul in top working condition.
At the very least, you should make sure you're wearing a good pair of gloves.
Good pair of gloves. Well, we got our interfacing gloves.
Personally, I'm gonna make sure I've got a steady supply of prep tied handy.
Have some speed. Which we actually have, but we've never used drugs in the game. All right. Well, hold on.
Do what you have to.
Hardcore.
Like Egg said.
So I said let me do something first. We'll save here, and we'll quick save, just because we did those two little
What's
extra
on your
lines
mind?
dialogue there.
Rest of the crew has got to stay
All right,
here.
let's contact
Can't afford to
Archer,
let the beat drop right as we're getting
Captain
off the
Archer,
ground.
and his prize Beagle. That's Star Trek. Can't afford to let the beat drop right now.
Much love to my hardcore antenna brothers.
Good luck, guys.
Try to squeeze in a promo spot while you're on air. We've got to start putting the word out.
A promo spot with the Coalition warship?
Back across the waterlock. At least we are getting our exercise in today.
You can grab the amplifier officer, and you start spooling up those cables, and we can get all in one go. Okay, so... good. I was like, I hope it just teleports us over there, but Kim seemed to indicate I was gonna have to run there manually. Not so. Captain Archer's kept it over. Captain Shirley. Oh, right, good. Does teleport us. There's our sunken car. Well, and they're running a cable all the way across the waterlock. They're not trying to, remove the engine from the car and move the car's engine to the statue. They ran a cable across the entire, city. What's your vector, Victor? It's all ramshackled together with extension cords and such. Wow, and what? They rose the statue up higher. They moved the whole statue up another, 3 meters.
Just plug that in there, would ya?
It's like the end of Back to the Future with Doc connecting the electric line.
It's done. I believe we are ready.
Yeah, as ready as we're gonna be. Grab one of these can sets, both of ya. I've got it rigged so we can all listen, but only your cop talk will broadcast.
What's me here? Selling music to him?
I'll hear what we're gonna hear when I turn this thing on, so be prepared for anything. Trick is to keep transmitting your request until the big bad acknowledges ya. You got that?
Keep transmitting until acknowledged. What if they never acknowledge me? Yes, hold on a minute. What if they never
Honestly,
acknowledge me?
That might be for the best. Like I said, the signs coming off this whole project are seriously uncharted. Don't know how much juice we've got, so we better get to it. You ready?
Can I say wait again?
No time.
Nah, hold on a minute. Nope. The horseback antenna.
A soft rustling. The snow seems to have gotten between your ears somehow.
Ignore it. I wonder if you have to ignore it to properly transmit, but where's the sound coming from?
Every light switch, every motor carriage, every doorbell, tea kettle, and radio in Martinez, all mingled with electrical interference caused by scattered thunderstorms over Ozone.
Hey, Lawman, we're waiting on ya.
What should I say? Coalition Warship Archers, RCM Officer Tequila Sunset. Please acknowledge. Coalition Warship Archers, Lieutenant Harry Dubois of the RCM. Please acknowledge.
You're all alone out there, wandering a blasted heath, calling out to the night. But there is no reply, except for the buzzing of invisible machines. The lieutenant looks up at you with a nervous glance. He is nervous for your sake, of course, but also his own.
Barely passed this camaraderie check.
Looking at him now, with both hands on his headphones, you see very briefly what the lieutenant must have been like when he first joined the RCM. Then he turns to you. He gives you a half smile, along with an almost imperceptible nod of encouragement.
Almost imperceptible.
Give it another go.
Lieutenant Dubois, please acknowledge.
Perhaps you're simply imagining it, but it seems as though you're learning to pull apart the fibers of this auditory felt. You focus on one strand in particular, one that sounds very nearly human.
Another check just barely passed, 13 out of 12.
Nein, Liebling, das lasse ich nicht zu. Wie kannst du unseren Jungen bloß auf einem dieser Dinger nach Bredeport schicken?
Is this directly German, or is it just supposed to be like German? Hello, Archer, do you acknowledge?
Marianne hat mir erzählt, dass Oscar nicht mehr derselbe ist, seit er auf einem Luftschiff aus Grab zurückgekommen ist. Natürlich halten ihn die Psychologen für vollkommen normal. Aber sie hat das Gefühl, seit seiner Rückkehr mit einem Fremden zusammenzuleben.
Maybe it looks very German. Right, but I wonder if it's fake German or real German. Well, wait, there's Die. There's Die, which is the... Die, Bart, Die. That's German for the Bart, the. Oh, good to see lightning. Huh.
You can't make out a word of this gibberish.
Oh no, I needed one more point of rhetoric. Get some intrapanotic crosstalk.
Liebling, bitte. Er ist unser einziges Kind.
My son is also
Er kann doch auch nächstes
We need
Jahr
more
zur
Bort
Akademie.
license plates in Disco Elysium. We need more Bort license plates in Disco Elysium.
Is that what you call those radio spookers? Didn't know they had a technical name. Either way, you gotta keep it up till we get through.
Coalition Warship Archer, if you're there, please acknowledge.
Again.
It's cold now.
A slight frisson at the point where your neck meets your spine. Something about the lieutenant's words directed at you, but not you.
It's really coming down now you mention it. Kim, don't clog my connection.
I didn't say anything, Detective.
What? It's cold now. I didn't say anything. Are we reading his thoughts?
Someone has been maintaining it. The wiring has been repaired.
An uncomfortable silence falls over the connection.
Wait, what wiring is repaired? This is new wiring. Is he talking about on the warship? What?
It's been a long winter. Long and cold.
Has Kim become a psychic conduit? Maybe it's your twin brother. What? Can't tell me you didn't say that either? Like, so why would you not pick the Shivers option? Well, it didn't seem right there, but we still seems to be on a Shivers road.
I promise you I didn't, even though it certainly sounds like me.
What? Kim's voice is on the radio? It's more crosstalk.
So your partner's haunting himself, trying to warn him off his current path, most like.
Time travel.
It's eerie for certain, but also harmless. I
But
just wish
also
I could remember
harmless.
what I was talking about.
So, okay, so, hold on. It's cold now, in the past. Someone's maintained the wiring, it's been repaired in the past or the future. Been a long winter, long and cold, and right now it's spring. Huh.
Something here is eating at the lieutenant as much as he would like to move past it.
I needed 20 encyclopedia to talk about the Pale? 20? Wow. Maybe early in the game, maybe.
Natürlich halten ihn die Psychologen für vollkommen normal.
You should try again later.
Can do. This is it. The only way forward is the hardcore way. Straight through. Now give it another go.
Coalition Warship Archer, do acknowledge.
Someone has been maintaining it. The wiring has been repaired.
So that's not Kim here, that's Kim on the radio.
Dubois, please acknowledge.
Archer's Dubois, can you hear me?
Liebling, bitte. Er ist unser einziges Kind.
Failing your signature skill, yeah, by 4 points. We might rerun this one time and try to put 1 point into rhetoric and 4 points into encyclopedia. Somebody, well, here, maybe, let me type it in chat real quick. 1 point rhetoric for encyclopedia would pass every check that we've missed here.
Warship Archer, please identify.
The signals are getting increasingly weak.
Oh man, I can't do this though.
Archer's signal from this will be like isolating a single strand from a tangle of hair.
There's no way I can get 7 more points in air facing. I can't even get 1 more point in air facing.
This isn't looking good. The radio spookers are winning.
What can we do?
Don't know. If we can't get around the interference, we're in deep trouble.
Chad, now you
Hold
know
on.
that.
I think Gag gave me some sort of checklist. Says here, main step, volume to the max.
Right.
That's not too helpful. Okay. It also says, inspect connections for hardcore clarity. So let's try that.
How do I inspect the
Right,
connections?
You climb up.
Climb up the horse statue.
See if there's anything obvious.
Oh man, it's gonna take the savior skill, which we don't have a super high thing on.
Law science.
This isn't exactly your area of expertise, though, says Logic.
Maintaining it.
No problem at all. You've already teleported up.
You've already teleported up to greater heights because we teleported up the Ruby building, even though we didn't do. We've backtracked and not actually talked to Ruby yet.
Come on, son. This isn't anything but a common high bar. Just get a solid overhand grip and hoist yourself up.
Physical instrument just barely encourages us. 12 out of 12.
Images of your body smashed against the pavement flood your mind. This is dangerous.
I don't know what I'm doing. No problem. I've already mastered the art of teleportation. What if I slip and fall? I've already mastered the art of teleportation.
You actually haven't, but you have proven that you are a relatively capable climber.
Mm-hmm. Let's do it. No hesitation. Might give us negative bonuses. Fully animated. Fully animated, like a few things in the game, like when we ran away from our hotel bill and flipped off guard. Very mastered of teleportation. Look at us teleporting. It's amazing. Beam me up, Scotty. If you just slip and fall.
Your gloves give you a solid grip on the metal bar. This feels pleasingly familiar. Keep it together, champ. You've got this.
Got it.
And before you know it, you're safely perched atop the monument.
Relatively safely. I mean, the statue is rebarred together. A little bit of haunting music there in the background. Yeah, it doesn't feel very safe. You see that bar work? Except connections. Well, we need the comment from Kim.
Yes, you're a natural gymnast, detective. Now, would you like to do what you got up there to do?
Examine the
The
connections.
connection itself is nothing.
Reminds me of
more
Zelda
than
music.
A little braid of exposed.
Yeah, on like the
hoof of the horse.
the whatever that instrument was called, the ocarina. That's part of the name of the game. Ba, 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 da, ba, ba, ba. The song of Zelda communism. The connection itself is nothing more than a little braid of exposed wire wrapped about the hoof of the horse. A copper fetter, it cannot slip.
The whole monument is covered in a thin but durable layer of oil and grime. It's obvious no one has cleaned it in years.
Oil and grime is gonna make it hard to stand like this. Legendary logic. Legendary logic. We got 15 out of 14. You can dissolve the oils, creating a cleaner and clearer connection. Pour some alcohol over the connections.
Is this really the time, detective?
It is. It's the time of desperate measures. He's using his party fuel to clean the connections.
Party fuel.
Once the alcohol has had time to dissolve the oils, you wipe off the bar with your sleeve and
Where's was called of time? Yes. the accordion of time. Love that Weird Al cameo in Ocarina. He's at 20. 15 out of 4. Yeah, no, we're overshooting it. We're overshooting it. All right, did that help?
Yeah, Maybe it helped a little, but the overall picture is still pretty softcore, at best.
Unser einziges Kind. Er kann doch auch nächstes Jahr
Still getting the German crosstalk.
Hang on, I'm looking at Egg's checklist. He says, if all fails, bend antenna. Narrow is the hardcore way. That make any sense to you?
What's that supposed to do? What are we supposed to use to bend the antenna?
It says here, muscle style.
Muscle style, physical instrument. What good's that supposed to do?
Good question. Maybe he's saying we're casting too wide a net. Gotta narrow our receiving band so we pick up the big bad without the spookers. Since you're already up there, I say you should do it.
This is the way.
The speed freak.
Oh, man.
The responsibility is yours and yours alone. There's no turning back now.
So, only a 17% chance right now of attempt to narrow the receiving mode manually. Look at Philippe. And yeah, we get a -2 for our anti-object prejudice. Solid grip +1, eye for sculpture +1, advanced transceiver +1. Look at Philippe.
You are face to face with Philippe.
The anti-object, yeah, is lowering our score, which I could actually...
Something about his features seems bizarrely distorted.
We could actually, in the middle of this conversation, forget about our anti-object task force to get +2. Logic says, not intentionally, it's a matter of perspective. The king was never meant to be seen from such an angle as you have attained. Something about the face is bizarrely distorted, but you're not supposed to be looking at the statue from above. You're supposed to be looking it up.
His imperious gaze leads you naturally to his outstretched hand. Which
Why no one not come to help us? Well, he's got to man the radio thing itself. Strikes you sadly. Maybe he's not good at climbing.
Come on. Kings and sabers are so played out. There's a better way.
A better way. Wait, there's a better way? Wait, attach my saber? Wait, what's this better way?
Why not arm the good king's valiant steed instead? There seems to be just enough room between its teeth there.
That's brilliant. Put the saber between the horse's teeth. It's a little too out there. Put the saber in the king's hand. Maybe my conceptualization here is making us stupid. Because the king's hand might... Well, I don't know. The horse's head is higher up. Alright. Use the saber? Aren't you on the date now?
To your surprise, the saber slides snugly between the horse's bared teeth.
Conceptually, we'd say 11.
There is no way that is going to make any difference.
Nah, every bit helps.
42%!
To be as hardcore as you.
Every bit helps. See, that's it as hardcore as possible. +2. The saber actually does help. Look at the horse.
Faithful steed cuts a dashing figure with the replica saber between its teeth.
Look up at the sky.
The sky is grey and overcast.
Still the anti-object. I didn't forget it. I didn't forget. I just said we could. I didn't actually do it yet. Oh, right. Somehow the raindrops seem to fall more slowly at this angle.
Through the scrim, you can just make out the shadow of
and
coalition
look down. Aren't you not supposed to look down?
A few of the idle lorry drivers and strikebreakers gesture at you with their cigarettes. More out of curiosity.
Probably Swampy put in the hand. Quite possibly.
From the window of one of the adjacent apartment buildings, an older woman leans out, her heavy breasts sagging.
Oh, do I get -1 distracted now?
She yells a single word you can't make out, and then shuts the window with a violent thunk.
42%. Well... Pain threshold +1, all physique, learning caps raised by 1. Okay, so if we are going to forget that, we should put this last point in the shivers before we lose the capability of learning that far. I don't so much mind losing the endurance and the half-light or electrochemistry levels, I think. Alright. 72%. Green. Green. Ooh, and you can hear the stack amplify for a second.
Your grip is firm, yet controlled. The swelling in your headset guides your hands as much as your hands guide the bronze horse head. It's almost like you're hearing through the horse itself.
The saber boost. Saber to the sky, or we could do the saber like Luke on the Star Wars posters.
Looks like it's working. Keep going. Just a bit more.
Nein, Liebling.
The signal is clear. The storm has passed. This is another voice, a live voice on the other end of this invisible bridge you've established.
The invisible saber bridge. Thanks for the one to see failure. Yeah. We'll fail if you ever get that object. That's true. We rolled 17. 17, good number. 16. Yep.
Try it now.
Warship Archer, please acknowledge my saber.
Lieutenant Dubois, this
Ooh.
is Warship Archer. We are acknowledging and accepting it.
Is this the coalition symbol? But yeah, there's this face in the middle and then like this, white glowing Darth Vader head.
There it is. The big bad. Now be quick. I'll keep us aligned as long as I can.
This
You rip the horse head off.
You're finally getting to speak with those who hold real power.
Real power.
And by that, we mean the ones with the
Looks like one of those
guns
old
and
radio
the
microphones, you think? Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. Okay, yeah. The connections around the side. I gotcha.
There is so much you wish you could ask. Your efforts have bought you some time, but you can't forget what you're really here for.
Please be advised that you are speaking on a public frequency. What is your request?
Am I speaking with? Was there what she looked like from up there? What does the moral Lutheran really want? When is real democracy coming to Reva Show? Listen, I need to reach the community's responsibility. I wonder if we have enough time to ask everything. Yeah. Who am I speaking with?
You are currently speaking with Coalition Warship Archer, flagship of Insurcom forces in Revachol.
Are you the captain? Coalition has talking warships? Sure, but who are you? I need to know your name.
Our name is not important. All you need to know is that we hold the position of second signaler aboard the vessel.
Second signaler.
Really don't have the faintest guess what her name could be. You were never very good at this sort of thing.
Huh, if we had 6 more points of Inland Empire, we might have been able to psychically guess her name.
There's something in the way she refers to herself, always with the first person plural. A deliberate blurring of the boundary between herself and the institution she represents.
We hold, yes. I just add that to the list. I don't have enough skill points to build 6 more Inland Empire, although maybe we've got some Inland Empire gear. I don't know, 6 seems tough.
Not to mention the airborne artillery platform she works on. Her every word is backed up by the most powerful ordnance available.
Why do you keep referring to yourself with the plural? What's it like being second signaler? Plural.
Because it's standard practice for signalers to use the pluralis officialis during the course of our duties. It's meant to serve as a reminder that we don't speak only for ourselves.
Sure.
For instance, as second signaler, we represent Coalition Warship Archer, which in turn represents Insurcom and the Coalition more generally, which in turn represents the Moralist International, which itself represents the interests of 1.2 billion people across the world.
1.2 billion.
She's the voice of all those living souls.
We did pass this Endland one. So I'm talking to you, it's like I'm talking to all of humanity. Sounds like a hard job, sounds like an awesome responsibility. I'm talking to all of humanity.
No, of course not.
Of course not.
There are many nations outside the Moral Inter's umbrella. In Seoul,
You start your
Samara,
monologuing.
and elsewhere. At most, you might say the Moral Inter represents between a quarter and a third of humanity.
I'm talking to a third of humanity.
Perhaps you could say that we represent the interests and hopes of a great many people. But you could say, just as easily, that we are the assistant to the secretary of a factotum. no more remarkable than the lowest cashier of a
Interesting. You could say we're no more remarkable than the lowest cashier of Frit, which is right over there. We've talked to the cashier of Frit right over there, who doesn't know anything. Or at least she won't tell us anything.
It all depends on your perspective.
Who's the secretary? Who's the factorum?
The chief signaler, our superior.
Okay.
They are ultimately responsible for all communications aboard the Arthur.
Sure, she's the second
But
signaler.
now we've wandered quite far afield. What was
We've
it?
wandered quite far afield. Alright, hopefully we have time to ask all of them. What's River Show look like from up there? Sure, why not?
That's difficult to say. We have a very particular view from our observation platform up here.
Particular how?
Perhaps the best way to describe it, it is to
Yeah,
say
Rogue
that
links one of the radio mics. Yeah, no, I know what you're referring to.
Not
With,
unexpectedly.
I think it's designed for reducing shake, isn't it? Two questions first. Which I do? Give me five. That silver tongue staring back at me. Good to see John, by the way. John streams out Serena. Check him out. Very wide perspective, not very detailed. What can you see, though?
Oh, it looks quite lovely from here, even with the rain. From our portal, we see rolling hillsides, a public park filled with grand oak trees, men and women going about on horses.
Men and women going about on horses. She's not looking at where we are.
There are children running home to get out of the rain. The homes and gardens are quite beautiful.
Right.
Very near, like those in certain areas of Messina.
Right, so she's looking at better places than here.
Le Jardin, Stella Marie, Saint-Baptiste. She's looking down on the suburbs of Revachol East.
Right. Where are you exactly? I don't see any of that stuff. Look around. You're above Revachol East, then.
That must be.
That must be it.
We've only recently been detailed to the Archer, so we are still learning the names of all the many districts.
Can you see Marinaise where we are from where you are?
Martinez. That is to the west, yes?
Yes, look across the river. I thought it was to the south. Nope, it's to the north. Definitely north. Well, I'm gonna hope that yes, look across the river is correct, because I don't know. Well, if she's looking Revachol East, then right, we have to be west, right? I think. Wait. I don't actually know.
Stand by a moment. We are adjusting our viewfinder.
They're very... We're adjusting our viewfinder. They're very acquiescing to the requests of this random voice on the radio transmitting from this source. Thought we were north. Oh, shoot, are we?
We are looking at the river now. There are small islands in the middle of it. It's very nice, actually. Interesting. The west of the city looks very different from the east. There's a large motorway dividing it nearly in half. This must be the 881, no?
Exactly. Follow that west for a few kilometers until you see the lake. Maybe follow the motorway as far as it goes. Motorway? I got no idea what we're talking about. We were just talking about the motorway. The motorway goes over Jamrock and then to here, right? So 2 might actually work, but I'm gonna try to talk confidently. Follow that west for a few kilometers until you see the lake.
Very well. Now, we're looking at an area that seems to be in urgent need of revitalization.
Okay, that's us.
She must be describing...
Oh, no, actually, no.
The district under the shadow of the 881. It's heavily working class, with no municipal infrastructure to speak of. To your knowledge, no such revitalization is forthcoming.
So we didn't get that 20 encyclopedia, but we got this 14 legendary.
Now we see the lake, and around that, a rather vibrant-looking city quarter. There are some large buildings, from the turn of the century, we would guess. Yes, this must be the heart of the district.
Alright, so that's Jamrock. Now look north towards the harbor.
So that is Martinez.
What do you see?
Oh, well, we see the many historic buildings, of course. And the snow gathering along the rim of the bay.
Historic buildings. More nicer to say than the crap buildings, the blown apart buildings, the war-torn buildings.
The old and irregular streets.
I think we're at the end of the road since all the lawyers here. Well, they pulled up the canal, right?
The
So
open fires burning in oil drums, visible through blasted roofs.
There are also a number of seabirds looping and twisting in the wind below us.
no horses.
And of course, we can see some people, but they... how to say it?
They look like a bunch of tiny apes duking it out on this great big ball of a planet. Look like a bunch of lost souls wandering about in indescribable pain. They look happy and well-adjusted. Look like ants, isn't that what they say? We could talk about the apes again, but lost souls wandering about in pain.
We really couldn't say. That's one of the limits of this vantage. But the whole district does have a very desperate character.
Desperate character.
And then there's all the tear line about. It's very unpleasant to look at. We're going to widen our viewfinder a bit.
Guess they gotta install some recycling bins or something. Do you see a roundabout with an equestrian statue? We're trying to get her to look at me. Look! Hello! Hello, warship! Jimmy says, hope you had a bad time last night. Well, I was enjoying, fights in tight spaces. Jibbit's getting the butt kicked at Neo, which I've played a little bit of. Guess they should install some recycle bins or something. Yes!
Recycling is very important. The coalition always supports initiatives that promote civic responsibility and mindfulness.
Alright, do you see the roundabout with me?
A roundabout. Uh-huh! Yes, we see the monument. But there seems to be a man on top of it.
There it is! That's me! Wave your hand! Alright, people climb on monuments all the time there. It's kind of a local tradition. Would you say he's a handsome man? No, I want to wave the hand.
That's you. We have to say, that's extremely irregular, Lieutenant. What are you doing on top of the public monument?
Listen. Listen, Archer. Marnay's is a disco town. I'm singing the song Annihilation. It's kind of an involved story. It's a performance piece. It's a disco town.
How interesting. In Messina, disco has been extinct for more than a decade. Funny how the past always is more present in some parts of the world. In any event, it is certainly interesting to see you, even from afar. Most of the time, we signalers just have to imagine what our interlocutors look like.
Interlocutors? Is that a real term? I've never heard that.
Liebling, bitte.
Just people talking.
Ist unser einziges Kind.
Signal's weakening. I guess you've got about 2 questions left.
Come again? We're picking up more interference.
So wait, if I use these two, will I not be able to say 5? I guess what does the moral intern really want is more interesting than when there's real democracy coming to Revachol? It's a real world, huh? Never heard it.
A very important question, with a very simple answer. We want humanity to endure.
Endure.
Beyond that, it may be said that we are the inheritors and stewards of Dolores Day's legacy.
The great innocence's legacy. And that legacy is?
Immeasurable. It includes interstellar travel, 3 scientific revolutions, humanism, internationalism, the welfare state, and balance of terror theory. Nothing less than the intellectual foundation of our modern order.
Balance of terror theory. Balance of Terror is a great episode of Star Trek.
The role of the Moralist International is twofold. To buy humanity sufficient time to perfect itself, and to patiently guide it along the road while protecting it from ideological highwaymen and eschatologists.
Give humanity sufficient time to protect itself. What's balance of terror theory?
It's an elegant idea, one of the cornerstones of the modern era. In short, it holds that durable, lasting peace is possible when the major powers are capable of inflicting unacceptable and irreversible destruction upon one another.
And the capacity for war.
Because no rational state is willing to accept the risk of such a calamity befalling its own people. All powers are incentivized to de-escalate conflicts before they reach the point of no return.
Has it worked? What if states aren't rational?
For the most part, it has. The world is certainly not free of violent conflict. But in the modern era, we have made great strides to reduce its frequency, duration, and...
Reduce the frequency of war. Can I talk about what if states aren't rational?
It's like any other living thing. It wants to survive and grow. A state that doesn't value its own existence is not a state at all.
What sense is the moral intern the steward of the innocence Dolores Day's legacy, who discovered Revachol in the first place? Or at least encouraged the trip?
It was established by many of the same founding party members who elected Dolores Day, and who, after her assassination, dedicated their lives to the continuation of her political and intellectual project.
I think we did hear that Dolores Day got assassinated like one time, but if we did hear about it, I forgot about it.
The other members of the founding party moved to Sur-la-Clay and invented modern corporate finance. Their names may still be found on the pediments of some of the largest investment banks in the world.
Who are the highwaymen, the ideological enemies.
The communists say they are the next dialectical step in an inexorable spiral of progress. They claim to have resolved the inherent contradictions of moralism and believe they're just one revolution away from establishing a humanist paradise. The fascists say they are both the ancestors of and the successors to Deloreanism. In other words, they believe that Dolores Day's reign simply represents a glorious phase of expansion within a greater Franco-Nigerian heritage. They criticize the DeLorean project for accepting and integrating new peoples rather than forcefully subjugating them.
Okay. So, the, Dolores Day, we know, did have an army and did have forced education programs. We know that from when we looked at the stained glass thing. And so the fascists want to continue that imposition, whereas the moralists in the coalition here claim that they are bringing in other cultures rather than continuing the forced integration type thing, and which is more federation-y, if we're still talking Star Trek, which I always am.
And then there are our prodigal cousins, the Vazan Social Democrats, who hold our same values and have even adopted many of our same rights and iconography, though they persist in rejecting the umbrella of moralism.
So the Vasans do everything the same as the coalition, but they don't want to join the coalition.
For some reason, it's the Social Democrats she sounds most exasperated with.
I just wonder if the communists may have a point, at least intellectually speaking. Why do you represent the Social Democrats more than the communists and the fascists? Because they're so close to us, but they won't join us.
We don't resent them. It's more that we are disappointed that they have chosen to emphasize certain points of dispute over broad areas of accord.
Right.
She speaks of them like a family member she's abandoned hope of ever maturing.
Right.
But of course, they also remain dependable partners in a number of centrist governing coalitions. The communists...
Let's see if we can,
For some reason, it's...
Are there any non-ideological threats to humanity's future? Yes.
Atomic war, environmental degradation, resource exhaustion, viral pandemic, supervolcanism, runaway anthropogenetic collapse.
Viral pandemic? That would never happen. Adrian, good to see you. With some stag struffs and some spin scruffs. If the opportunity presents itself, perhaps you should mention the 2mm hole in the world you've recently discovered.
This is why it is critical for the international community to work toward peace and cooperation between nations. There's simply too much at stake.
Where's the RCM? Where are the cops fit into all this?
The RCM exists under the umbrella of the coalition, just as the coalition exists under the umbrella of the morally intern. At the same time, the RCM is not exactly of the coalition.
What do you mean? Because of the decapitage? Have you heard about this?
We are not that familiar with RCM lore and practice, but we believe that may be the case. As we recall, the decapitage originated with the Revacholian commune itself.
I don't actually remember us talking about this. Maybe we talked about it with Kim?
There is some truth to that.
But in a practical sense, it's the responsibility of the ethics divisions to ensure that both organizations are working towards the same ends.
The ethics division. The
is
ethics division
of the RCM that coordinates activities with the coalition. It's composed of high-ranking RCM officials and their medium-ranking moral intern counterparts. It's considered a career-making assignment for elite RCM officers. In other words, it's a fundamental part of the RCM. So you probably shouldn't ask her any questions about it.
RCM is a vestige of Revachol's communist past. Why bother with the RCM at all? Can't the coalition just run everything itself? Hey, Kim, why haven't you joined the ethics division?
I suppose I enjoy Kay's work too much. But surely you have more interesting things to discuss with the coalition than my career path.
Lieutenant Dubois, was there anything else?
Eh.
At the same time, It's our understanding that the
There is some truth to that.
but in a practice,
The ethics division, in other words.
Okay,
It's
so
a fundamental part of the
can't the
RCM.
coalition run everything
So-
itself?
because the coalition has no interest in running Revachol. We'll succeed in our own mission the moment Revachol rejoins the international community as a sovereign democracy. The RCM is an integral piece of that project.
Okay, well, wait till it's the end of the road.
Let us answer your question with a question. Have you ever seen evening fall over the old town up at Vesperashit?
Maybe. Keep forgetting things lately. No, I haven't.
The heart of the city, the old town, is a district composed of weathered marble, comprising thousands of columns and arcades arranged around a series of grand plazas. During the day, it's a beautiful sight, equal to any of the great cities of Pericarnassus.
Very pretty in the day, weathered marble, okay.
But as the sun sets, the shadows cast by those columns and arcades weave together to form an intricate ombre lattice. When you see it, you suddenly understand. It was all built for you, for this very moment.
When you see the shadows cast, you realize everything was built for you.
The name Advesperaskit means evening comes.
Built for me? Built by whom? Say nothing. Built for me?
For you, for all of humanity. Not only that, but you are also part of that centuries-long plan. When you cross one of the open plazas, your own shadows is effortlessly woven into the great lattice work, a deliberate synthesis of humanity, art, and the natural world.
Beautiful. Impossible! I'll say beautiful.
Yes, it is. We grew up there. We have seen the lattice with our own eyes.
Oh, huh. Dolores Day was crowned there, wasn't she? I'm glad my character remembers that, because I don't.
She was. There are even those who say that Advesperaskit summoned Dolores Day, or that it was built in preparation for her, centuries before her arrival. That's why the old town is sometimes called the ceremonial heart of humanity. Of course, such a city does not spring from nowhere, nor does it endure without effort. Its construction was the work of many generations, and its preservation is an equally monumental responsibility.
Preserve the weathered marble.
There's a word at the tip of your tongue. A name. Egret. Don't ask us what it means. We're not sure.
Hand-eye coordination isn't sure.
It's the name of a common bird.
The encyclopedia knows.
With white plumage. At various times, its feathers have been prized for ladies' hats.
Might sound strange, but does egret mean anything to you? How much time does humanity need to achieve its potential? Let's ask about egret, I guess.
Yes, it does. It's the name of a bird, of course. But it's
Ooh.
also the designation for the Archer's Coordinated Impact Artillery System. Why do you ask?
It's the name of the artillery system. I was thinking about birds. I was thinking about artillery systems.
It is one of the most advanced currently in service, capable of firing 50 rounds per minute along 20 coline arcs.
Which we did hear about at one point, being able to, blow up this whole city in minutes or something.
However you feel about weaponry as such, it is one of the
And
great...
it's aimed at us.
This is it. Final question time. I can already feel our alignment getting shaky.
Is everything alright? We lost the connection for a moment.
So, it sounds like... If I say when is real democracy coming to Revachol, I'm not gonna be able to try to reach the committee of responsibility. That's what it sounds like. So let's say 5, I guess.
Acknowledge. To reach the committee, all you need to do is fill out the appropriate request form and submit it to the liaison for public affairs.
So this is not gonna happen, right?
If the liaison accepts your request, you will be invited to address the committee at their next quarterly public hearing. We believe the next hearing is scheduled for July.
If I need to reach the committee a bit sooner, actually, I hope you convince me I hope you can patch you through the committee directly. Empathy, convince her you need to address the committee. +2, showed her mayonnaise. +2, clean and sober. +2, discovered a strange anomaly. +1, not boring, normal. -1, history of prank calls. -1, superstar's ego. -1, won't let the past go. Alright, let's just go for this immediately. I'm worried we won't be able to get back to this.
This isn't about you. Not really. It may have been at a certain point, but you've let go of that perspective.
This is Tuesday, but wait, it's Thursday.
Responsibility to all of Revachon.
History prank calls, right? When we end up calling our ex-wife or ex-girlfriend or whatever. May have been at a certain point, but you have to let go of your perspective. It's about your responsibility to all of Revachon.
Now, take a deep breath. Look upward. You don't have to bear the burden alone.
Listen to me. The situation, Marnie, is a powder keg. If the Coalition doesn't intervene, many people will die.
What? How do you know this?
I've uncovered things in the course of my investigation that lead me to believe we're headed towards a violent confrontation between the Union and Wild Pines. Things go bad down here, like really bad. Damn it, there's no time to explain. You better write this down. What? This is interesting, but I'll say the first thing.
Lieutenant Dubois, this is a very serious claim. Please describe the situation as succinctly as possible. We will forward your summary to the committee.
There's papers rustling in the background. She's clearing her desk, preparing to take notes.
Okay.
There. You've wedged your foot in the door. Now, if you can show the Coalition how much they're needed.
Oh, Tuesday's repair. Gotcha. All right. Hope that all goes well. Tool had a tornado disaster recently. Now, if you can show the Coalition how much they're needed, they'll have no choice but to intervene. Logic success. You have to lay out the facts. Just lay them out beneath the cold light of reason. Wild Pines recently lost control of the paramilitary death squad called Crinnel. Wild Pines have been completely shut out of the strike negotiations. Haven't worked out the details of something weird going on with Wild Pines. All right, let's talk about the death squad.
Please continue. We're listening.
What's more, I believe the Union's been trying to escalate the situation so they seize control of the entire harbor. Uncovered evidence the Union may be orchestrating a takeover of the local fishing village. Union's demands for worker control of corporate boards sound completely unworkable. All right, seize control of the entire harbor.
Good God. Is there anything else the committee should know?
Detective, before you answer that, I urge you to weigh your words extremely carefully.
You're not only speaking for yourself. He means to tell you you're speaking for all of the RCM. What you say now will reflect on all of your half-brothers and sisters. The lieutenant is afraid you're going to say something too outre.
Those are the facts I have them. I've discovered a intrapnotic phenomenon here in Marnaise. Now you mention it, I learned something very strange about the victim in my murder investigation. Did I? Well, I want to talk about the 2-meter hole in the universe, which our logic wanted us to talk about earlier. But maybe they won't like this.
We're afraid we must ask you to repeat that, Lieutenant Dubois.
Afraid? What is she afraid of? Her tone has shifted. She's no longer herself.
Well, I'm gonna repeat it.
Acknowledge. Listen very carefully, Lieutenant. We're going to ask you a series of questions. It is imperative that you answer as directly and truthfully as you can. Do you understand?
Uh-huh.
Good. First question. Are you currently in the vicinity of Surrey, the North Arcade Islands, or near Pale Offshore Platform in Indico?
No. You already know exactly where I am. Now I'm in Marnaise.
Very good. Next question. Would you describe the phenomenon as internal to the Isola or external to the Isola?
It says, save ignoring his emotions. What do you mean? About not doing the empathy thing? Or, not saying, wait, what's going on? Next question. Would you describe the phenomenon as internal to the insula or external to the insula? Is what's going on.
What she means is, actually, you have no idea what those words could mean in this context.
Wow, conceptualization impossible. Your total 13, impossible 20. Internal to the insula or external to the insula? I have no idea what you're asking. Is it internal to Marnaise, or is it external? Plus 7 conceptualization on the list. Yeah, which again, if we had unlimited skill points, we could actually do. We've got 6 here. I'd just need like 1 piece of conceptualization clothing. But we don't have 6 skill points to spend right now. Internal, external. I have no idea what you're asking. I guess I'd describe it as internal. It's in the church.
Next question. At the time, did you experience sense objects?
Can you elaborate?
Yes. Examples may include sound, memory, light.
When the Raver put a compressor over through the other thing, it may have beat really hardcore, like too hardcore. Experienced nothing, completely like a phenomenon. It was kind of a gradient.
Go on. Another question. Were you alone?
No. Of course not. The radio program was
You
there.
are part of a large family. You are never alone. There's no need to overthink this.
We repeat. Were you alone?
No.
You hear the sound of a page ripping.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Please stand by while we transmit our summary.
A long winter.
Signals are starting to misalign. Not sure how much longer I can hold them together.
Oh, just a little longer.
Lieutenant Dubois, this is Collision Warship Archer.
Yes, I'm here. Archer, I can't hold on much longer.
Thank you for standing by. We are authorized to report the Committee of Responsibility for Rebel has acknowledged and accepted your request.
Okay.
They would like you to address your matter to the committee directly, as their earliest convenience.
I'm in the middle of this murder investigation. Just tell me where to meet him. When is that? Just tell me where to meet him.
Remain where you are. Collision Shuttle Laurel is setting a course for your position. They will arrive momentarily. Stand by.
There's a shuttle coming?
To the southwest, one of the smaller aerostatics that hover above the city breaks from its holding pattern. Coalition Shuttle Laurel begins executing a slow turn, drawn by an invisible wire.
I'm thinking of like the Star Wars shuttle with the wings coming up and Darth Vader walking down the ramp. So what's your it up?
No way! Big Bad's coming here!
Rook's accepted first try.
Lieutenant slowly removes his headphones and turns up toward you.
Well, what now?
What do you mean? I guess we wait. What do you
You've
mean?
accomplished your side task. You've contacted Coalition Warship Archer. I suppose what I'm asking is whether we are about to lose you to the moral intern.
Beneath that surface query, a touch of self-doubt. The lieutenant isn't sure he can solve the murder without you.
Kim, if you consider maybe our case isn't that important. Kim, I'm tired of feeling like I don't have any normal, reasonable options. But I'm afraid, Kim. Tired of feeling like I don't have any normal, reasonable options.
What options? What in God's name are you talking about, Detective?
Everything is so messy down here. It's much nicer up here on the statue and with the Coalition. Haven't you noticed things have only gotten weirder the longer we've been on this case?
The lieutenant takes a moment to compose his thoughts.
I don't know where this case will lead us, Detective. But in a sense, that doesn't matter. Our job is to follow the evidence where it leads. Consequences be damned. Because that's what it means to be an officer of the RCM.
The lieutenant's final words are nearly swallowed by the roar of the aerostatic's main rotors.
Lieutenant Dubois, this is Collision Warship Archer. We have been instructed to inform you that the Laurel arrived at your position. Please acknowledge.
No shit. How are they supposed to hear
And there's the shadow.
acknowledgement over
There's the shadow of the shuttle.
own rotors?
Acknowledged, Archer. This is still Lieutenant Dubois. Oh, wow, it gets really dark. How big is this shuttle?
Thank you. The Committee of Responsibility for Rebel has authorized us to offer you an immediate extraction. Do you accept?
Hold on, a few questions first. Look around one last time. I accept, Archer. Get me out of here. Board the aerostatic. Look around one last time.
The roundabout, Martinez North, daytime. Across the plaza, a pair of seagulls fight over the remains of a chicken wing. The speed freak eyes you with a curious blend of awe and contempt. He's torn. There's nothing more softcore than the Coalition, according to his worldview. And yet, Having summoned an aerostatic with your voice is one of the most hardcore feats imaginable.
I brought the coalition here.
The lieutenant looks up toward you. He starts to open his mouth, then appears to think better of it. He's spoken his piece, he thinks. It's up to you now. You cannot leave. So much hangs in the balance.
I can't do it back out. Well, I mean, I want to... this is presumably an alternate ending. Can I ask a few questions first?
Far past that point,
No.
Lieutenant. There is only one question now. Are you ready, or are you not?
All right, well, I want to see what happens. I mean, presumably this is an ending. Presumably, but board the aerostatic.
Acknowledge. Laurel has initiated the extraction procedure. Stand by.
Marianne hat mir erzählt, dass Oscar nicht mehr derselbe ist, seit er auf einem Luftschiff zurückgekommen ist.
Ja.
Weeks later, no answers about extracted cop. The condition and whereabouts of an RCM officer extracted by a coalition aerostatic 2 weeks ago remain unknown. The dramatic maneuver witnessed by dozens near the North Roundabout has reportedly increased tensions between the citizens of Martinez, the RCM, and coalition authorities. Early reports that the lieutenant was investigating entropinetic phenomena along the coast have not been confirmed. According to an official statement given by the RCM, the lieutenant was in Martinez as part of a murder investigation. A coalition representative declined repeated requests for comment.
All right. We win. Yeah, I mean, that's an ending. That's an ending. All right, well. Let's, we can spam through the dialogue this time, but let's see if we can modify our gear a little to pass a couple of those checks. So what do we need? I wrote it down in the chat. +1 to rhetoric, 4 to encyclopedia. I don't think we can get 4 to encyclopedia, actually. No, in fact, we're wearing a lot of encyclopedia stuff in the first place. 5 logic. Well, I might be able to get 5 logic. Although we might fail some encyclopedia checks along the way. +7 conceptualization, which I can't do that. But yeah, 1 point rhetoric I'm sure we could do. Maybe 5 logic, maybe. Alright, let's see. No faith. Just look at everything we got. So there's a logic instead of a shivers jacket. And there's the logic shirt instead of physical instrument. Although physical instrument shirt taken off, we're gonna fail some physical instrument checks. And then 1 point rhetoric, we'd have to give up Inland Empire, which will fail some checks. So let's see, that's 2 extra logic, here's 2 more. And then here's 1 more. So now we have a lot less encyclopedia, but we should pass the impossible logic check. Now we've got 14 logic right here. Alright. Hopefully, let's put a point into rhetoric here.
Yo, man.
Alright.
Much love to my hardcore and
Good luck, guys.
try to
Back across the...
Alright, well, let's, again, we'll spam through the starter, but maybe we'll fail the interfacing check, right? Maybe we won't be able to do anything. Or maybe the logic will let us bypass the interfacing check, I don't know. But yeah, we'll spam through a little faster here and just see if we can find an alternate outcome. In terms of the best outcome, it doesn't end the game, you know? Do we want to have the aerostat fly down but then refuse to leave? Is that the best outcome? the furthest we can get without actually ending the game. So yeah, we can't skip this, seemingly. Oh yeah, actually, Glavy said, you know, why didn't Noid come help you? I said, maybe Noid's not good at climbing. But no, actually, Noid is good at climbing. Saying it up in the first place.
As ready as we're gonna be.
Maybe don't mention the hole in the world stuff, yeah.
No idea what we're gonna hear when I turn this thing on. So be honest, don't know how much juice we've got.
A soft rustling. Every light
Hey, new man, we're waiting on ya.
Is there anybody there?
Ooh, failing the Inland Empire check may us lose morale.
Lieutenant looked nervous. For who though?
And
Cannot say.
and we failed the camaraderie one.
Perhaps you're
Nein, Liebling, das lasse ich nicht zu. Marianne hat mir...
something about her son.
There we go.
To Freiderford on an aerostatic to see some psychologists. Or maybe the psychologists are saying it's normal to have feelings for strangers. Foreign languages were never your strong suit.
So we got to see this little bit of dialogue.
Liebling.
Is that what either way? Again?
It's cold.
A slight frisson at the point.
Mention what? I didn't say. Someone has been.
It's cold, like you said. This is what happens if you acknowledge the shivers like Lightning wanted. So we come down, you mention it. Mention what? It's cold, like you said. I didn't say anything.
An uncomfortable silence.
It's been a long winter.
It's your twin brother. This is not what we said last time.
I can assure you it's not my twin brother. Though it certainly does sound like me.
It's more crosstalk.
It's...
Right, and there was the massive encyclopedia check.
Natürlich halten ihn die Psychologen für vollkommen normal.
You just have to...
But someone...
Liebling.
Worship.
The signal.
This isn't looking good. The raid don't know. It's my guess.
Someone has...
No problem. Something about this
You actually haven't.
Okay, climb the monument again. And I think, isn't this where the +5 logic check is? This is the main thing we tried to gear up for. Is that to keep the joke going? Wait, just complaining about some of the options I pick, or...
Your gloves, you don't exactly cut a lithesome figure, but after several moments of scrambling, you managed to hoist yourself atop the monument.
Oh, that was slightly different. Maybe because my physical instrument was too low? Last time it said we got up there safely, right? This time, it said we did a little worse. But we still make it.
That performance was frankly an embarrassment.
Right, I said we lost a point of physical instrument. That was pretty bad. Hope nobody saw it.
Doing all right, detective.
The connection, the whole monument is covered in a
Is this real?
It is.
Once they're out,
Yeah. Hang on. I'm looking at Egg's checklist. It says here, since you...
the speed freak is right. The responsibility, this faithful steed, you are his come on. Kings and why not armed?
So much in the war. I mentioned once I got away with it. What a classic.
Nah.
What a classic.
Through the script, a few of the she yells a single word you can't make out, and then shuts the window with a violent thunk.
Alright, so we forget the task force again, and we get the 72% again. I think I failed it. I think I failed it. Break the horse, yes. Yeah. Kim reacts to it.
You allow the broken hunk of metal to clatter to the ground. It wasn't clear to you it did anything anyway.
Got 14 out of 16.
Nein, Liebling.
Huh? Sounds like that was a false move. Signal's even worse now.
That piece of junk didn't even work. I'm sorry, I was trying to do good.
Thing is, trying's not enough. Now it's the results that count.
He's right.
I'm gonna turn all the dials to maximum.
A maelstrom of sound, swirling.
Nicht mehr derselbe.
Lieutenant,
It's too much.
Ooh.
Eardrums are throbbing.
Impossible pain threshold with the dials at
A
max.
long winter.
And then
Try it now.
this is Worship Archer. We are acknowledging and accepting you.
We're getting quite a bit of
As
interference.
good as it's gonna get. I'll keep us aligned as long as I can. But this isn't a social mission. You got it.
this is it. And by that, there is so much you wish you could ask.
Right, so instead of 3 questions,
Time for
instead
one
of 3 questions, you only get 1 or 2. Because the horse's head snapped off.
Please be advised that you are speaking on a public frequency. What is your request?
The worst murder happening here? Well, there's the head down the ground over there. Alright, so we could ask when is Real Democracy coming to Revachol, because we didn't get to see that last time.
We can assure you, it is coming as soon as possible.
Within my lifetime?
Oh, most likely.
Most likely.
Though, of course, it depends on the contingency. You must
Contingencies?
understand, the moral intern is responsible for ensuring the continuance and flourishing of mankind for the next 3,000 years. The planning division must account for a great many possible outcomes and chance events.
Why 3,000 years? Why do they have a 3,000-year plan? Not 1,000, not 2,000, exactly 3,000.
Fortunately, we have contingency spreads to help guide our decision-making. Of course, there is no one spread that can reasonably account for all these possible events. But at least, we're able to prepare for the most likely eventualities.
How do contingency spreads work?
It's not really our area of expertise, but we can try to explain. Picture a smooth hill made from fresh dirt. Now, if you stand atop this hill and put a glass of water over it, what will happen?
Smooth hill, fresh dirt. Pour a glass of water over it. Dirt will get wet. Won't have any water. The water will run down the hill.
Precisamente.
Yes.
We know only that it will run down, but not what course it will take. If we place a rock in the water's path, will it divert to the left or to the right? We cannot say, but we may predict which way it might run in either event. That is the essence of the idea. You might also imagine the spreads as a kind of tree, with every juncture representing a different event, and every branch representing a different timeline.
You say the Morlands can use contingency spreads to see the future.
Not exactly.
Future vision.
No one can know the future. But with contingency spreads, it is possible to predict what the future realities might reasonably look like.
For 3,000 years. Logic success. But yet, we never saw, I don't remember when it came up last time, we never saw the thing that required the 20 logic. We got ourselves to 20 logic, and then I don't think we saw the impossible logic check come up. Was it part of her conversation? I thought it was earlier on the statue. More or less reasonable futures. Follow up on that.
But we shouldn't overstate their importance. They are simply one of many tools used by the moral intern to set policy.
Hold on, says Logic. Does that mean there are some realities are less reasonable than others?
Well, yes. Just as some events are less probable than others. While we expect the vast majority of realities will fall within a normal confidence interval, there must necessarily be some that fall outside that range as well.
There's a lot to take in when you say the reality we're living in is less reasonable or more than others. Someone told me we live in a precarious world, that every event is just a violent roll of the die.
It may be. We're only a second signaler, not a metaphysician. It's a rather cold way to think about the world, isn't it? The key, we believe, is to be open to meaning, even amidst great uncertainty. But now we are only speaking for ourselves. Well,
See,
yes,
I want to see.
just as some events are less
Are we living in a
probable,
more or less reasonable reality?
who are we to say?
Hmm.
We are only a second signaler, not a
Same
metaphysician.
kind of deal.
This is the key, we believe. Well,
What
yes.
about the last one? There's a lot to take in.
course.
Of course it
We're
is.
the key, we believe.
It's all very
Open to
similar.
meaning,
It's all very
even amidst
similar.
that
Where does
impossible.
Repagel fit in amongst these contingencies?
It may be that Revachol has a great role to play, or no role at all. That is the nature of contingencies. You must understand, when we speak of contingency spreads, we are talking about the most fantastically complex data visualization human beings are capable of producing, with thousands of events, from elections and wars to to natural disaster or scientific miracles, and millions of possible outcomes.
Ah!
It makes your brain swell just to think about it.
Pain threshold too low.
It may be the case that, under certain scenarios, Revachol is vitally important, as it was during the collision landings in '08. It may also be the case, in many other equally plausible scenarios, that Revachol is simply another once great city, like countless others throughout history.
Revachol's most important city in the world. This is where the return will happen. This is definitely a place whose time has passed. Why do I think about these conditions that make you feel so bad? Revachol's most important city in the world. This is where return will happen.
Perhaps not.
Perhaps not.
The world is full of great cities that have resolved the questions of their time. La Chère, Bradford, our own home of Advesperachet. For this reason, responsibility for developing contingency spreads is only assigned to highly trained analysts working with advanced radio computers and a steady supply of drumming.
A steady supply of drumming, which this would be in response to thinking about contingencies hurting your brain, huh? Alright, I still want to know when real democracy's coming. How do I access my personal contingency spread? When is real democracy coming?
Of course. While the content of individual contingency spreads is deeply classified, many degrees beyond our access, everything we have heard from the Provisional Commission indicates that the transition is proceeding according to the appropriate timetable.
Does that mean democracy's here? No, not yet. What if some people want democracy faster?
Of course, the coalition supports the Revacholian people's desire for full democracy. We encourage you to contact the offices of the Provisional Commission if you're serious about getting involved.
If I want real democracy, like right now, how can I get involved?
Oh, there are many
things you can do.
If you're
Canvas for
interested in
signatures,
learning
manage
how to
polling
canvass
place, register voters.
manage the polling
Happy to
place,
direct you to a
or, in
workshop.
fact, you may have picked the perfect time to get involved. Revachol is nearly ready to begin the first phase of
The
democratization.
first phase, democratization.
Soon, the people of Revachol will vote for slates of candidates who will make up the Transitional Advisory Council that will oversee the second phase of democratization.
How many phases are there? What's the
The
Transition Advisory
council is
Council?
modeled after similar
Bodies of
developed
other
in a number of
democracies.
Local
Local
conditions,
conditions.
in this case,
Once
Violence.
elected, council members will even have the opportunity to join
Sales
one
pitch,
of several officially sanctioned political wings, depending on their ideological beliefs and policy preferences.
It's never late nor too early. It drives precisely when the moral interim intends it to. What do these wings
A very
represent?
important question. The wings are carefully selected to
So
represent
they've
a
got their
wide spectrum of
pre-approved political
thought.
parties.
Typically, there's a liberal technocratic wing, a social democratic wing, and even a conservative populist wing. You wouldn't believe some of the ideas they express, but a vibrant and free political culture requires that all perspectives be given voice, even those many may find objectionable.
Who picks these slates of
In most
candidates?
cases, the Provisional Council selects them from a cross-section of the local population to ensure the slates actually reflect the people they represent. Of course, such a situation is not ideal. We would all prefer for the Revacholians to nominate the representatives directly. But that is why it's a transitional council.
Right, and we've heard about 2 phases. How many phases are until we have real democracy?
Our best theoreticians believe that 3 to 5 phases are appropriate for states that lack strong democratic traditions, which would certainly apply to Revachol.
With kings.
But we must stress that real democracy is an ongoing process and not simply an outcome. It must be cultivated and preserved if it is to endure.
This is it. Final question time.
Is everything all right? We love the
I still don't know if final question means you can still ask one more, or if we need to go to, I need to reach the Committee of Responsibility.
Acknowledge. If the liaison accepts your request,
So because I didn't show her Revachol, we only get a 58% chance right
we
now.
believe the next hearing
But-
is scheduled for July.
Let's just drive up our empathy to make sure we pass this, or try to make sure we pass it. There's still a 70% chance of failure.
This isn't
There we
about
go.
now.
What?
Okay, so we're gonna say the same things we did last time, but not,
We're listening. Good God.
Detective,
The lieutenant
but
is
not
afraid
talk
that
about
this
the hole in the universe.
will trick.
Not talk about the hole in the universe this time. So wait, now you mentioned I learned something very strange about the victim of my murder investigation.
We are listening. What did
See, it
you
was
learn
coming
about
as a
the
kid, it was the love of the man. Heard something miraculous is coming from way out west. Yeah.
Oh dear. You
Right.
see,
Come again? Something miraculous, you say?
So I still may have failed here. I was saying, but that's what I heard from North Swiss specifically.
We're afraid we aren't quite following. Who told you all this exactly?
Maybe there's it's Miracle Matters.
No, Lieutenant. Because what you're saying is
shoot.
that you are experiencing an acute psychic break with
No.
We will pass along a summary of your report, minus
Okay,
any
wait, maybe this is fine.
or paranatural elements. What the committee does from there is beyond our control.
Maybe this is
We're
fine.
afraid so. But we must say that it has been a privilege to speak with you. You've shown yourself to be a credit to the RCM, and we wish you good fortune and safety during the course of your work.
Her wishes are sincere. You can take heart from that, at least.
Now, the first signaler has informed us that we must update the receiving frequency.
Another way?
And the lieutenant gives...
The line goes
I
quiet.
think it's best for you to climb off the statue now, Detective. Your real work is done here.
Just give me a minute.
There's a damp cop. You look around.
Look around.
Are still shouting their slogans and waving their hand-painted signs. Beneath you, the lieutenant and the speed freak have begun disconnecting a few cables.
Volition, there's really no point. You begin to feel like a child who refuses to come down from the carousel. Huh. I wonder what would happen with one more point of volition. Probably just...
You grab that amp. Forget the cables. Need to leave some evidence of our antenna to inspire future generations.
leave the cables.
What's one more trip across the waterlock?
So what did it update our journal with here? Oh, I can't see.
Well, cop man, we've repaid the favour. Guess this cements the cop hardcore alliance.
Top Hardcore Alliance. So yeah. Just said, we contacted them.
Yeah! We are cops now!
Hardcore cops!
Easy, Egg. We're still hardcore music venue organisers, first and foremost, but maybe this does make us pillars of the local community.
Been good working with you, gentlemen. I would never let my hardcore brothers down.
Sure. You have to say that now, but it's alright. I'll put this tech away later. Think there's an extra can set, in case you want to grab a souvenir or something. Don't think anyone will miss it.
Oh, we can grab the extra can set over here. Oh, +2 Inland Empire helmets, -1 reaction speed. Nice. So if you want to build up your Inland Empire... So yeah, we've got our Inland Empire right now at 3, which we can pump 4 more points into. But, you could put on your Inland Empire necklace here. And your, now the Inland Empire headset. And so now we can get Inland Empire up to 6, I think we might have one more piece of Inland Empire gear, too, somewhere. Yeah, actually our little, cop stuff can push it a little higher. And I still think there's one more we've got. But yeah, +2 Inland Empire helmet. Not bad if you needed to pass a check for that. Okay, well, I think it's just about Hearthstone time, but I do want to try and see. Now, actually, like, wiki information on Disco Elysium's quests is kind of shaky. It's kind of shaky. There's no, like, super extensive listing that I've found of quest outcomes, like for a bigger release game like Fallout or something. But, we'll see if we can find if there were any other outcomes there. Da. Well, yeah. Well, apparently 2 months ago, 0.1% of people had finished this quest on Steam. Because you to do this, you have to pick the center political road. If you go communist or fascist, you can't do this, and it's also pretty late in the game. So yeah, because this was added. This was added in the final cut also. So people who finished the game before, yeah, it's new final cut exactly. So people finished the game before and have not come back to the game. That's why it's so low. All right. So yeah, I think ultimately we're not gonna take the time for it now because it would take a little too long. But I think off stream I'm gonna try to run through it one more time and do what I consider the most interesting outcome, maybe, which is to tell them about the hole in the world. But then when the shuttle comes, go with Kim and with your shivers and say, wait, no, I can't go with you. Which presumably, I don't know what happens after that. We're not going to take the 20 minutes here that would take to see it. But presumably, you know, the game keeps going. And there will surely be some extra dialogue. I don't know if the Coalition gets mad or what. But in theory, A, the Coalition would know about both things, even if you don't go personally. And B, well, I don't know, it just seems like the most interesting outcome to me. But yeah, if there is something super interesting there, then maybe we'll try to do it repeat it on stream next time. But just so you know, that's probably what we'll lock in for going forward on Tuesday. And yeah, on Tuesday, we're gonna go talk to Ruby. We're gonna go talk to Ruby, because I think we've done everything we can possibly do right now without talking to Ruby.